All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. As stipulated in the Constitution, senior cadre appointments by the President are subjected to confirmation by the Senate. After the much-anticipated first cabinet reshuffle of the Tinubu administration, the Senate has screened and confirmed all 7 ministerial nominees made by President Bola Tinubu. The newly appointed ministers are Nentawe Yilwada as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Bianca Odumegwu as the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Megari Dingiyadi as the Minister of Labour and Employment, Jumoke Uduwole as the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Idi Meha as the Minister of Livestock Development, Yusuf Atta as the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, and Suwaiba Ahmed as the Minister of State for Education. Now let's share this story by TVC News' TVC News with you.
The Senate suspended standing rules to admit visitors into its chambers. The special advisor to the President on National Assembly matters ushers President Tinubu's nominees one after the other. They are here to convince the curious lawmakers on why they should approve of their nomination. The nominees talk about their vast experience in various fields of endeavors, also how they hope to bring their experience to bear, particularly in resolving Nigeria's economic needs and improving the lives of Nigerians.
Once you want to address any issue in the 21st century, the first thing you do is you get data, because data is a king in resolving challenges in the 21st century.
I know what it takes to negotiate and to do it patiently and to listen to our friends from the other side.
The Nigerian embassy in Madrid that you see today is a product of my tenure in that country.
I need to go to the ministry, take over, see the policies, how far they have gone, then to see how I would put in my best into perfecting the policy.
Intend to encourage people by building those incentives across all those 417 grazing areas in the country.
To create productive jobs through vibrant domestic industry. And I spoke about the need for high-value productive jobs.
As a provost, some of the notable achievements to my credit include securing full accreditation for all academic programs in the institution. This is a strong achievement.
The lawmakers commended President Tinubu for an impressive selection of nominees that cuts across party and gender bias, which they believe will bring balance to his cabinet and also earn citizens' trust. The lawmakers also commended the President for assigning portfolios before sending their names for screening at the Senate. They urged that this is sustained in subsequent nominations.
I want to thank you for commending President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, for going across party lines to seek for the best of the best to serve our country.
Mr. President, by bringing an APGA person to be a minister has already started with what we call a unity government.
With their nominations confirmed, the Senate hopes that the new ministers will live up to expectations as they join the government in formulating and implementation of policies that will enhance economic growth and development. TVC News, Abuja.
All right, you're welcome back. Beautiful reports there. But BK, the Senate screening 7 ministerial nominees with their portfolios attached. But tell me, how will you appraise the way the Senate on the screening process? In your opinion, was it thorough enough?
Well, apart from the security screening that they are usually subjected to, they usually don't thoroughly screen these people. And it's understandable. The president has tremendous influence over lawmakers
Okay.
Especially where his party controls, the party has the majority in that legislative chamber. Once the president turns in list of nominees, they've been screened by the security agencies. It's usually it's unusual for those nominees to be turned down, because except a big mistake is made,
okay,
or they get a petition that that there's cast iron evidence that the person chosen has cases, has corruption cases to answer to. They usually don't screen out these guys. Don't also forget, before the D-Day, those close to the nominees will have also gone around to do what is called, what do the Americans call it? Lobby. Okay. They have also lobbied. So what you see is usually mere formality.
Mere formality.
Yes, you don't expect thorough screening that will now bring out a lot of things. That doesn't usually happen. But at least I like the fact that somebody from ABGA, because just earlier last week, Senator Abaribe was complaining that the president was unfair to the Southeast. But you heard him there saying what the president has started amounts to building a government of national unity by appointing somebody from ABGA. He is an ABGA senator from Abia State. So the appointment of Ikemba Ojukwu's wife is a significant milestone, because people didn't see that coming. You know? So, and Bianca said she will remain a supporter of ABGA for the rest of her life. I think in honor of the memory of her husband, she has to do that, and she's remained in ABGA. And I was happy that when a senator, rather than focus on her resume, talking about her beauty, he was restrained. You know, Bianca, I think in 1988, it was most beautiful girl in Nigerian BGN. And she represented Nigeria in Miss Universe and won one of the faces of the Miss Universe pageant finals. Yes. She won Miss Hamity. Miss Hamity means the contestant that the people were most warm to us. Okay. You know, her smile and all that. So these were the things that got great Ikemba Ojukwu involved. You know?
Involved. Ikemba was the father when he was married. Was the father of the day when she was being named.
Well, let us that's another one. Yes. So now, Senator Ndume said something I found really significant. Okay. When the senator, the new minister of Humanitarian Affairs, the nominee for that position, because they've not been sworn in, was being screened. Ali Ndume, the senator from Borno South, has reminded him of how ministers before him were left their positions and all that. That ministry was created by the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, and the people who have
occupied that position.
Yes, they've left in disgrace. Corruption. When you talk about the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, what comes to mind is lack of transparency. What comes to mind is corruption, award of contracts, to cronies.
controversy,
bare-face stealing. During Shadia Umar's time as Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, she awarded 109. She awarded contracts to build 109 skill acquisition centers. Those skill acquisition centers were to be domiciled within a tertiary institution. At the time she was leaving office, they claimed, so they were to be in each of the 109 senatorial yes, in our country, senatorial districts in our country. At the time they were leaving office, they claimed to have delivered 20 of those projects out of 109. More than 80% of the contract sum had been paid out. In the real sense, only one of those contracts had been executed.
Just one?
Only one had been delivered, and that is the one in Abuja, FCE, out of 109. And those contracts were linked. They were executed by different contractors, but linked to one contractor, meaning that the contractor was using different names and appropriated those contracts. That is the sorry situation that we find ourselves. The question to ask the EFCC is, how many of those buildings are actually ready as we speak? If more than 80% of the contract sums had been paid out, why haven't they executed those projects to an extent that we can see them, you know, dotting the landscape of our country? That is not all. They also came up with the idea of constructing farm to they call it farm to school project. Yes. As we speak, not one.
And money has been.
And money had been. Yes, not one. They call it farm to the kitchen centers, one per school. They awarded 37 of such. Money paid to contractors, but not one has been built. You know? Farm to kitchen. That's what they called the project. We had a situation in which the ministers were simply taking money from agencies under the ministry, like NCPA, for example, because NCPA was like the cash cow. The minister would leave her role as supervisor to be having direct access to the funds of agencies under her. It's an absolute disgrace.
Exactly.
Because the law does not permit you. You are not the accounting officer of a ministry. When you go to the point of changing signatories to enable you have access to funds of agencies under your ministry, it tells the story of our country. How corruption works on two legs in our country.
No force.
I mean, and something has to be done. So Ndume was right to remind
you that
yes, are you going to end up in disgrace like
the others?
Or what are you going to do? He said he's going to use technology, will make sure that he ran the affairs of the ministry in a transparent manner. We are waiting.
We shall be
but where the EFCC fails to do its job.
I think the EFCC has a lot of questions to answer.
Where they fail to do their job thoroughly, then they are enablers of the thieves in government. It's as simple as that. Where you fail to do your job diligently. You can't say you are going to build, construct a project in each of the 36 states of our country and Abuja, and you pay out
80%
of the funds, and not one of those projects
standing. The light of the day. All right, gentlemen, we need to go on this quick break. And when we return, I'll be coming to you, Tunde, but I'm going to be asking you, the nominees, in your opinion, did they show brilliance? Did they show competence in the way they actually attacked the questions, the way they answered the questions? But we'll be back right after this break. Don't go anywhere. It's still done this time.
The Valor Train to Campus. National Orientation Agency, NOA, presents the 747 National Values Charter Campus Debates. All government tertiary institutions are invited to participate and compete for a grand prize of 20 million naira at the National Grand Finale. The competition starts in the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. Capacity development training for 600 students. How to participate? Record a 3-minute video on the topic, the National Values Charter, striking the balance between government's promises and citizens' responsibilities in nation building. Send the video to the dedicated WhatsApp line on 081-6636-2878. For more details, visit www.noa.gov.ng. Entry closes November 8, 2024.
Home quality, wires and cables. Home and come, light up your life. Home and want to light up your household. Home and want to give you better.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it is a journalist hangout. I still have BKO and Tunde Abaton. All right, Tunde Abaton, still talking about the ministerial nominees. Did they show brilliance? Did they show competence in the way they approached all of the questions that was actually thrown at them?
Yeah, actually, like Jide said, we have the Senate, the National Assembly has no luxury of time to actually put them to the best of screening possible, to actually grade them, to put them on this box. But one thing that is fundamental to when you are being screened for anything, even ordinary office job, is that what I discovered over the years is that the most eloquent speakers are not necessarily the most plausible listeners. People can be able to talk and move mountains to every other thing. When it comes to the nitty-gritty of doing the job, somebody may be found wanting. Because when you talk more than you are supposed to do, you will forget what you have done. Some of them will end up criticizing what they have done. But the most important thing is that intention and sincerity. That is what we need in Nigeria. Because a minister is supposed to be a supervisor of the ministry. We have core civil servants who are to do experts all over the place. It depends on how best the ministers make use of those people in their ministry, based on their vision, based on their capacity to deliver, to drive that particular program. So let us just set aside their performance, except Jumoke, Mrs. Jumoke Duwole and some others who spoke eloquently. Yes, I really enjoyed it. She actually does with a lot of people, but the video was going around. But the most important thing is that in spite of, and some people could not articulate themselves very well, but they could perform very well when it concerns the nitty-gritty of administration. So we should not limit their capacity to their ability to be eloquent, answer questions, but to their integrity and the ability to drive their program, to drive their change, to manage the people under them. Because like Jide said, how can the ministry that is supposed to build execute 109 projects? At the end of the day, you end up executing one. Same thing with the NISRA that was supposed to be granting loans to farmers all over. Yeah, we have a lot of things. And I told a colleague about at the extension of Major General Buhari's government that, well, I would be surprised if at the end of that regime, that regime did not pass as the most corrupt in the history of Nigeria. It is unfortunate what we are hearing about what people did with Nigerians in the last 8 years before this government. But I want to believe that anybody, like Ndume said, who has been asked to handle any organ of government, they should remember that all eyes are on them, especially at this point in time in Nigeria, when Nigerians are yearning for change. And I praise the courage of the president, even though I would have expected more changes. But by effecting a change 17 months after taking over, it means that he has been studying the performance of the ministers, and somebody has been bringing on the record, so that at any point in time, you will bring in fresh blood into your government, so that the people can feel the impact of governance. And Nigerians need governance at this period in time.
All right, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our third